second graders. We are on to chapter 15 in Guinea Dog, and 15 is called I Wasn't Really Thinking About Where I Was Going. So if you remember last time, Rufus was kind of having a hard time dealing with Fido and Lorena, so he grabbed his bike and he decided to go out for a ride. Okay. Eventually, I rode by the park. Not that I meant to. Our park had basketball courts and tennis courts and a baseball field and a playground. Tons of kids were there hanging out. I wasn't going to stop. I was happy. But wouldn't you know it, my good old friend, worst friend, Dimitri, spotted me and started running over. I pedaled faster, but then, realizing he was going to cut me off, I slammed on the brakes, did a 180, and started off in the opposite direction. Big mistake. Before I could get going again, he caught me, grabbed hold of my handlebars, and straddled the front tire. "Dude," he said, huffing and puffing in my face. His breath smelled like ranch dressing. "Dude, you seen Murph?" There are members of tribes living deep in the jungles of uncharted islands in isolated sectors of the South Pacific who have never had contact with the outside world. Who knew he was going to say that? "Nope," I replied, "just out riding. See ya." And I started to step down on my pedal. That's when Mars galloped up. Mars, the big black puffball of death. Do you remember who Mars is? Right? Dimitri's dog. His paws were as big as a panther's. His muzzle looked like a lion's. So did his mane. He was as big as a black bear, but only because of the poof. White slobber oozed over his white teeth, and he was unleashed. "Mars doesn't want you to go yet," Dimitri said. "No? He wants to know what's in your backpack." Do you remember what he's hiding in his backpack? Mars was snarling at my backpack. I felt his hot breath on my neck. "What's in your backpack, Roof?" Dimitri asked smugly. "Nothing," I said, though I could feel Fido scrambling around inside it. "Then why do you have it with you? Why carry an empty backpack around? That doesn't make any sense, dude. And you're supposed to be smart." "I am? Who says?" Mars woofed a deep, angry woof, and I felt a hot blast on the back of my arms and neck and head. I almost wet myself. I'm glad I didn't. No one likes that. Fido barked back, giving herself away, making me a liar. She sounded like a squeak toy, but that wasn't her fault. "You got that hamster thing in there, don't you?" Dimitri said. He was smiling big now. "The one that chased you at recess. Open your bag, dude. Open it. Mars wants to meet your little friend." I wasn't about to let Dimitri or Mars meet Fido. I wasn't going to let anyone meet her. It was accidental that she got loose at school, and a mistake that Lorena met her at my house. I needed to prevent anyone else from seeing us together, especially Dimitri. I would not open my backpack, and that was final. It was my property. Dimitri couldn't just take it and open it without my permission. That was theft, and he would have to go to prison, and the law would probably have to put his dangerous dog down. I started to hope he'd try. And that's when I saw Buddy sprinting across the lawn toward me, black and strong and fast and perfect. Buddy. "Buddy," I said. "What a dog." Mars stopped barking and snarling and looked. Murphy was behind him, waving. "What's up, dudes?" Dimitri forgot all about me and Fido and tore off towards Murph. Mars gave a couple of last sniffs at my bag and then ran after his master. He obviously didn't want to go. He and Buddy did the dog greeting thing, circling, growling, sniffing, challenging, nipping. Then they relaxed and started play fighting and racing around with their tongues hanging out and tumbling when they caught each other. I love dogs. If I didn't, I definitely would have done the smart thing and gotten away while I had the chance. Instead, though, I stood there hypnotized long enough for Dimitri to tell Murph about my new pet and drag him over. "Are you keeping secrets from me, Roof?" Murph asked with a grin. "Nope," I said, glaring at Dimitri. "Glad to hear it. Want to play some frisbee?" He held up a big red one. I smiled. "Sure," I sneered at Dimitri. "What about me?" Dimitri said. "Can I get in on this?" "Why not?" Murph said. "The more the merrier." No one was playing baseball, so we spread out across the grass of the baseball field. I set my backpack down near me. Murphy wound up and threw me an easy, high-flying toss. I caught it, turned, and threw the frisbee to Dimitri. It sliced a little and wobbled, and Dimitri had to run a bit to get it. When he got to it, he bobbled it, then dropped it. He growled bad words as he picked it up, then turned and hurled it to Murphy. The frisbee went completely vertical, shot straight up in the air, and came straight down. Hit the ground 10 feet away from Dimitri, rolled a foot, and then fell over dead. It was an awful throw. Embarrassing. I knew Dimitri would blame me for it. "Roof totally threw me off my game, man," he yelled. See? Murph laughed. "I'm telling you, Murph, he's got that hamster thing in his backpack right now. Check it out. It's like his pet." "Heads up, Roof," Murph called and sent me a perfect flying saucer. It hung in the air over my head a second or two, hovering, then practically lowered itself into my hands, like it had a pilot. "Sweet," I said. "What an insult," Dimitri said. "That was totally awesome, Murph. Maybe the awesomest toss I've ever seen." Kiss up. "Why, it wasn't nothing, pards," Murph said, twanging like a cowboy and kicking at a pretend stone. I threw to Dimitri again, little more carefully this time. It flew flatter and was right on the money, but he still miffed the catch. He glanced at Murph, who was waving at a herd of girls walking by. "Hey, Murph," he yelled. "Watch the master." Murph turned to look. Dimitri wound up, took a couple steps, and unleashed. The disc flew high over my head. It was hooking, so it was moving away from me pretty fast. Murph laughed and yelled, "Whoa, nice fling, Chuck." It was pointless trying to catch it, but I ran after it anyways. I didn't catch it. Fido did. She came up out of nowhere, scooting fast through the grass, and leaped up in the air and caught it in her tiny rodent teeth. The frisbee kept flying, spinning her around a while before landing softly on the grass. Fido immediately started dragging it across the field to me. "Whoa!" Murph yelled, running over. "That was amazing." I thought so too. I mean, the fat little thing jumped. She played some serious air, and she caught the frisbee like a dog. Amazing was exactly what that was. But wait a minute. Hadn't I sealed her up tight in my backpack before we left home? Maybe I should change her name to Houdini. The dogs ran over, Buddy first because he's faster. I covered my eyes. It would be just my luck that right after discovering my rodent pet had this amazing hidden talent that she would be eaten by my best friend's perfect dog. I peeked through my fingers and watched Buddy circle Fido. Fido marched right up to him and growled her weird, buzzy little growl. Buddy growled back and started pawing at the ground. Fido pawed the ground too. Not as much dirt came up. Then they started sniffing each other, if you know what I mean. To my surprise and relief, Buddy did not eat Fido. Then Mars arrived. "Now this should be good," Dimitri said. Mars joined in on the sniffing and pawing and growling, but in the end he did not eat Fido either. Instead, the three of them ran off together, barking and yapping and nipping at one another, their tongues hanging out of their mouths. They tumbled, they play-fought, then Fido chased a squirrel up a tree. "So what is that thing, Roof?" Murph asked. "It's my mom's idea of a dog," I sighed. Murph cracked up. "Some best friend." "It's a guinea pig," Dimitri said with disgust. "Roof has a pet guinea pig. Can you believe that?" "It's the same one that chased you at school, huh?" Murph asked me. "I told you," Dimitri answered. "It was in his backpack. It's his little pet, isn't it, little Roofy Doofy?" I ignored him and picked up my backpack. The zipper pulls were still tied together with my shoelace. She hadn't gotten out that way. I turned the bag over. There was a hole the size of a tennis ball gnawed through the bottom of my backpack. "Can you believe that, Murph?" Dimitri said again. "I mean, what a total loser. Don't you think, Murph? I mean, a guinea pig? Whoa." I looked up at Murph. What would he say? Would he make fun of me? He knew how desperately I'd been wanting a dog. Would he laugh at what I got stuck with? Could he be that cruel? Would he go so far as to turn this into one of his big jokes at school? Turn me into a big joke? "I wish I had one," he said. Good ol' Murph. The next chapter we'll be reading is called Dinner Conversation That Night Was Even Weirder Than Usual. See you next time, second graders.